Alright, for this next lab, we're going to introduce ourselves to the concept of variables, the way Chapter 3 starts off. Alright, so I opened up a new project. I called it Lab 2, Solutions Lab 2. For almost everything I'm doing at this stage, the solution and the project are going to be named the same thing, so don't get hung up about that. So we have Solution Lab 2, the project's called Lab 2, and I actually called, for the time being, because I'm going to keep on just using lab2.cpp, I just called it the source code lab2.cpp. Alright, so here's my file, so hit pause and make sure you copy this in first. So it's just a basic skeleton file. There's nothing in here yet that's going to be of any use. Okay, now we are simply going to write a program to ask the user for their first name, read in the first name, ask the user for their last name, read it in, and then output the full name. Alright, so we already know that cout outputs statements, strings, to the screen. So I'm going to ask the user, please enter your first name, and I'm going to read in the first name, but I need a place to store data. Remember, programs are nothing more than input processors that generate some sort of output based on that input that was processed. Anytime the program needs to read an input, there needs to be a variable that's storing that input declared. Alright, so we're going to learn about a new statement here called the variable declaration. Its syntax is type. So we have a new type called string, and then the identifier. Okay, so this statement here declares a variable called first name to be of type string. Alright, I'm glossing over here. The book has a lot of information here. The slides that I'll go over have a lot of information here. Alright, but type and variable declarations are an extremely important concept. I can't stress that enough. You're going to hear me say that a lot because there are a lot of important things that we got to understand in the beginning here to make sure you have a really good outcome towards the end of the course. Alright, string first name. This declares a variable called first name of type string. Now we're going to read in from the console. Alright, cin is an input stream tied to your keyboard. Alright, console is generally, most people will refer to this concept of a console as being the keyboard and the screen. So the console output stream is the screen, and the console input is going to be anything coming from the keyboard to your program. So we're going to redirect the input to the variable, to store the input in the variable. Alright, so now we got to ask them for their last name. Say hello first name, period, what is your last name? String last name, cin last name, and finally we're going to see out your full name is first name space last name, new line, semicolon. Alright, so every statement is trailed by a semicolon, right? And there's really two significant sections here. Get the first name, read it in. Ask the user for their last name, read that in, and then output their full name. Alright, so let's see what happens here. Hit play. I call it the play button. It's really compiling and linking, but it looks like a play button to me. So if you go down below, you can see your system should be compiling the program, linking it, and then if everything goes okay, you'll see a console window appear. So please enter your first name, Brian. It says hello Brian. So notice this is a variable. If you look at the code here, we're right here. Hello, comma, first name, but it replaced first name with the value of that variable, in this case Brian. It resumes period, so here's our period, what is your last name? And then a space. So notice the cursor is positioned one character after the question mark. That's because I have a space here. Same thing happened up here. Right? It just looks better. That's the only reason why I'm doing that. So now the program is currently executing this statement here. CN last name. It wants to read in the last name. So I can enter anything I want here. I'm going to, of course, enter my last name and hit enter. Your full name is first name space last name. So here we have your full name is Brian King. And of course new line allows the cursor to go to the next line. And keep window open is where this statement here, please enter character exit, occurs. And I enter a character, hit enter, and the program's done.